My poem is called Tree Stories. Pecan, 2024. The sky was light blue, but rain was predicted. We had been in the yard with neighbors, talking about the impressive canopy above us and how the wind will lift trees from rain-soaked ground like open umbrellas if the branches aren't routinely trimmed. We were proud of this pecan, but we also bemoaned the pecans are messy, both the trees and the squirrels in them, raining bits of chewed pieces and whole nuts which might or might not be moldy. And then there are the pollen-loaded catkins that drop and fill the lawn with tassels and the air with yellow dust. Not to mention the danger of the overloaded 3-story high limbs the trees can no longer bear. We all sighed, still looking up. When the storm whipped through later in the day, I heard the thunder before I felt the heavy thud spread a quick tremor through the house. Outside, a mass of green filled our driveway and the driveway next door. I rushed out to find an immovable limb, itself the size of a small dogwood. The limb had landed so close to our neighbor's car that only a piece of paper would fit the gap between the two, and the rest of it arched over the windshield of my car, where only the tips of the pointed leaves touched the glass. It was as if the tree heard us earlier and shushed us, saying, yes, I am amazing. Pawpaw, 1975. My mother sometimes declared she found us in the pawpaw patch, her eyes going wide with amazement. She would laugh when we scrunched our faces and asked, the pawpaw patch? Then we would beg her to tell us how to find the secret place. I imagined low trees humming with bees and butterflies and babies just emerged from the soil, swaddled and hidden beneath large dog ear leaves. When she died decades later and I wondered where she'd gone, my friends brought me 2 pawpaw trees, gossamer threads holding her endless story. 2, because the pawpaw, being self-incompatible, needs another to carry on. Sycamore, 1953. Her beginning was on Sycamore Road. My mother always preferred being outside, staying out until she had pushed the limits of her mother's anxiety and her father's anger. She craved open windows, and she wasn't afraid to crawl out of them, planting herself on an outstretched limb, waiting to hold her. Much later, when she cleaned her own kitchen, she'd leave the screen door open and sing to herself, I feel so weary today. That's why I'm just heading that way. I can see my troubles flying when I hear the light wind sighing in a sing-song sycamore tree. Dwarf apple, 1980. It was the centerpiece of our front yard, and we would spread a blanket underneath to picnic or read. A boy named Scooter, who lived down the street, sometimes sang to himself as he strode our way, intent on eating an apple. He'd pull one from the tree to his mouth and take a bite in a single motion. And then with a wave, he and the apple would move on. I admired their easy camaraderie. Hello, friend. Goodbye, friend, they would say, without words. Fig, 2020. Soon after we settled into our home, we began planting. The fig was fruitful. I slowly stirred its fruits with sugar, lemon, and rosemary or jalapeno, and we'd eat spoonsful with cheese and crackers. We first noticed her after dinner through our dining room window during the days when we spent so much time looking out, a mother possum eating figs. From our view, we could see bald patches on her back, and I worried for her, weary with virus-prone thinking, until I learned the patches were left by her Joey's tiny feet when they had emerged from her pouch and held on, slowly inspecting the world. The branches she clung to were slender compared to her roundness. One day she didn't return. Then a smaller possum arrived alone, the cycle of possum and fig. Chinese elm, 2024. For 90 seasons, the cardinals have perched in its branches. How many generations is it then for this family who lives here too? I say to the birds, I knew your ancestors. And the tree says to me as she sways, I will know yours. The elm stretches towards the pecan, and their roots seek each other somewhere in the loam beneath us. A family of mourning doves works through the crushed nuts on the walkway, while the squirrels devour the elm seeds tucked between the tree's shiny leaves. Pecan, 2003 and 2004. It yielded barrels of nuts our first fall in the South. Northerners, we were in love, eagerly roasting and candying and making pies. We spelled out peace on earth with nuts on our walkway and planted our kids at its trunk for holiday photos. In February, we thought, for a confusing few moments, that there were monkeys in the tree, but as they flew off, we saw that it had been barred owls caterwauling. We learned that owls don't only ask, who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? They sometimes laugh like scary clowns in the bare branches just outside your preschooler's bedroom window. Eastern Hemlock, 2010. Our son looked out our bedroom window and yelled, she's in the tree! I was calling to our 9-year-old, asking her to get ready to leave for piano. But when I looked out and then up confused, I saw that she was above the house, standing on 2 ladder-like branches. One foot was below the other, pointed in descent. It was dusk. She had a marker-sized flashlight held in her mouth. She was saving our indoor cat, who 24 hours earlier had run out and straight up to the top of a tree. In her daring, she had become her favorite fictional hero, Katniss Everdeen, and I stood frozen, watching. When she was low enough, I found my voice and yelled, leave the cat! But she had the cat with her. That night, I said my thanks to the heavens and to the giant evergreen for holding her close enough and not letting go. Holly, 2025. I have decided to read this poem to the holly who lives wedged between a fence and our driveway. Going forward, I might read everything I write to this tree. With her low spiky leaves, she is often avoided, but she has been known to wear the crown. She is the protector, the life giver, and for the cedar waxwings, blue jays, robins, and blackbirds who find her laden and reliable with red berries and shelter, she is the good news of midwinter.